Hi, good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Almost afternoon for you.
We're getting a little bit of a later start.
How do you feel about that? Okay.
I'm just going with the change. It's still the morning
sorry.
technically, so
Yeah,
I'm
you'll
willing
be
to let it go. Just this once.
Just this once. Yeah, so, okay. I mean, I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever, but I know I have, so this is weird for me, but I'm like,
Yeah,
what
we
have you
did
been up to?
this same thing about a week ago, and then we texted every day. So,
And we've texted every day since.
but you're right.
And like,
you're right. I haven't
like,
haven't seen you in a while.
You're right that we have texted every day since, and it's been like super like back and forth too, like rapid fire text because a lot
Very
went on this
business,
week.
very business lady energy. Hey, we need an update on this. What are the
Influencers.
numbers? What are the numbers?
Yeah, no, a lot went on this week in the realm of our favorite influencer and
Who's our favorite influencer?
Unnamed.
Oh, that's private.
We can't tell them who she is.
We can't.
Love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth happening this week. And you're in the throes of law school.
I am in the throes of throes. That's the expression.
Is that the expression? Because I said you're in the throes of law school, but I wasn't sure. I just was like, I hope that's it.
It is thrilling, and I think I am in the throes of law school. So I watched another Star Vehicle, Legally Blonde, to get myself in the mood, so to speak. But
and that one's a classic.
Classic.
Right? Yeah, I actually have to give that like a watch start to finish. It's always on like TBS or something.
Great Selma Blair role.
She was like a real 90s queen.
Real 90s queen.
Yeah, because I feel like I saw, is it Cruel Intentions with her?
Love.
Yeah. I saw that in theaters like a year or two ago. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go try to give this one a spin.
A year ago? Someone was putting Cruel Intentions on the screen?
Someone known as the conglomerate of Regal Cinemas was like, we're going to do an anniversary showing of Cruel Intentions. And I love the movie. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go like sit in a dark theater and see what's up.
I like going to the movies, I think, in New York City, but I find the theaters are so big. Like, you know, the Midtown ones?
The two Times Square
cavernous
from each other.
They're like tiered seating.
I'm obsessed with those ones. I love how you can kind of like go in and forget you're in a city. That's how I feel.
Got it. I don't know. It's too big for me.
Readers at home, I was really trying to look at Steven's face on that got it to be like, did he care? And you didn't let off how you felt.
I just think it's too big. I think it's too many people.
Scary.
It's way too scary. I don't know.
A lot of escalators, folks at home. Like if you haven't been to the
Escalator City.
Quite literally, Escalator City.
They give you you could look at your ticket and it'll say Theater 4 and you could think, great, that has to be on the second floor. But no, it's like 7 escalators away, down a hallway, across a bridge, and like then you can find the theater maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, and like to keep the flow of traffic, they have all these up and down escalators and no other way to get up and down.
And then they like pen you into different areas. And
yes,
as you progress into the dungeon, they like section off what concessions you can buy. And then by the time you're in your corral, they're like popcorn only.
You just keep following it up. You're like, I hope this is right. And then like before you know it, you're like 4 floors up. Like, oh shit, what I needed was 2 floors down.
Right.
Yeah, we saw Hustlers.
In the big time theater. Nothing is worse than the Lincoln Center Theater, though. This is very New York specific because they don't use theater numbers. They all have names. They're like the Pharaoh Theater, and it's like Egyptian themed. But like that doesn't really give any inkling of where it is in the building.
I haven't been to that theater since school.
Yeah, it was
reminisce. Okay, I mean, we don't have to like keep up with the small talk. I know you guys are so interested in today's movie. We are discussing New in Town from 2009 with Renée Zellweger, a star. Like goes without saying. A star.
I'd never seen this movie before, and I did give you a little preview last night when I sent you a text, but I loved it. I loved this movie.
I'm so happy.
It was so good.
So my mom like used to buy us just like dollar store DVDs. You know those like DVD crates at like a Walmart?
Five and below.
Like 99 cents. Yeah, something like that, like a $2.99 DVD. So like this was one of our DVD grabs from like probably 2009. And so my siblings and I
straight to bin.
My mom's like, I got you guys some movies. Go through them. And it's like the Jackass movie and this. And I'm like, oh, cool. Thank you.
We'll watch this one first.
And like, it's really funny. This is like slightly pre-streaming 2009. So
it's
we didn't
right
have
on the
streaming.
cusp. It's right on the cusp.
Yeah. So my siblings and I were like, okay, let's give this one a little spin. And we loved this.
Yeah.
At the time. Like we were obsessed with it. I have to admit, popped it in, remembered almost zero things.
Well, it's funny because when you suggested the movie, you were like, "Oh, it was one of my really formative movies." I was like, "It came out in 2009." You were like 20 years old. Like, oh, how formative
this bitch is
was
a fucking
it?
liar. Well, not to. Okay, this is. I hate bringing this up, but we had a van growing up that had a TV in it. It's like
I know the van.
Do you know the kind of van I'm talking about? It's like a big Chevy van, and we would use it to go to Florida. So my mom, like I said, would do these like discount bin hauls, and my siblings and I would have like 22-hour drives to just like pick movies.
Right.
And so this one was on rotation, and we watched it like a lot. So like,
it's really
why do I remember none?
It's easy viewing, for sure.
Yeah.
And I love this kind of movie because it feels a little edgy, maybe if you're in your teens, but nothing that you would feel uncomfortable if your parents walked in the room.
Oh yeah, and like that was a main criteria because my dad and my parents would be in the front seat driving, and they would like be listening.
Yeah, monitoring
and, like,
the chatter.
Yeah, and it was so embarrassing because like we'd be like, let's watch Mean Girls, and then my dad would be listening in the front seat, and it was like it was more awkward than if he watched.
Imagine on one of those trips, your mom was like, "Put this in." Sweetest thing goes in the drawer. You guys are locked in your seats trying to turn it off.
I would always hold the remote. I think this is where my anxiety probably started. Yeah, my anxiety started here because I would be gripping the remote with a death grip, and when I knew like a part in Mean Girls was coming up, I would like click it down a couple.
Yeah. I remember the first time I watched Mean Girls at home, I like watched it in my basement just to ensure like minimal observance could be had of like the material.
Oh my God. Lucky you. My mom literally took me to theaters. I was like, Mom, I really want to see this.
I remember that the most graphic movie I saw with a parent in the theater was Meet the Fockers, which was that was a really bad parental decision. But we were a family that just like couldn't get enough of Meet the Parents. So when a
lot of families were
when Meet the Fockers came out, this seemed like this was our moment to go.
It was a no-brainer. Of course the family's going.
Barbara Streisand's in it. How bad could it be?
Put your popcorn in your shirt. That's what we would do. Yeah. Get in the car. We're going.
Yeah, that was like
sneaking snacks into the movie theater is such a vibe. It was so fun.
We did it.
Yeah, illicit affairs when you're like 12.
Yeah, it was. To me, it was just normal.
Oh, yeah. No, the snacks at the movie theater are stupid. I got a soda at the movies yesterday for $7.
Whoa.
It was bullshit.
Whoa. They didn't have a refill of the drink mug?
Oh, my God.
So anyway, new in town.
Watched it with the fam. Loved it. It's rated PG, worth noting.
It is?
So nothing.
That's great.
Oh, my God.
That's so nice. It is rated really PG. Is. I agree.
It totally deserved it.
Yeah, it deserved it. It's totally PG.
This is the most PG movie I've ever seen.
When I
wished it was PG-13.
Yeah, I wish they would have pushed it a little bit, but I'm happy that the PG allowed for greater distribution. Now, when the movie turned on, this is kind of similar with some of the other movies that we've done, but I didn't recognize any of the production companies at the beginning. I wrote down
a great sign.
I wrote down Gold Circle Films. Never heard of it.
I was confused by that because in my brain, this was like a huge studio flick that made millions.
Me too.
So I was like, what's Gold Circle?
That photo of her with the off-the-shoulder, like blue sweater, like kind of smirking at the audience.
In the poster. Yeah.
I was like, that's a big budget movie. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought.
I was surprised that none of the studio houses were in my brain.
Yeah, I was also confused when I saw that. I was like, wait, where's like Universal though?
Right. Like where are the big guys? Because it made money. Like it was successful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, same. Okay, wait. Let's do our summary.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead.
Then we'll jump right in.
You're like, wait.
Steven. Yet another summary that I haven't read beforehand. So this is a cold read.
Just give it your best shot.
Okay,
and go all the way through. Sometimes you stop midway because you get self-conscious when you make a mistake.
Calling me out. Okay. Lucy Hill, Renée Zellweger, an ambitious executive, lives the high life in Miami. She loves climbing the corporate ladder as well as all the material goods that her successes can buy. When she's offered a temporary assignment to restructure a factory in a backwater town, she eagerly accepts and anticipates a huge promotion in the pipeline. However, what Lucy gets is a life-changing experience and romance with the man of her dreams, Harry Connick Jr.
So good.
I
tried to plug in some buzzwords, pipeline, that we've management pipeline, but
backwater town I love. That was a very nice touch.
Backwater town.
It's Minnesota, fam.
It is Minnesota, and kind of just to jump right in, the first scene of the movie is not Renée Zellweger. It's actually Minnesota, if you remember. And it's kind of some establishing shots of Minnesota.
Yeah, with the quirky cast of gals who are like scrapbooking.
This is unlike anything I expected to see in the United States of America. They were depicting Minnesota as if it was Siberia. The way that they were shooting this locale.
It was like offensive.
I know that they were...
It's not Minnesota all the time.
All the time. I was like, I know that we want to draw a contrast between Miami, and we'll get to like why they chose Miami, but like between Miami and Minnesota. But they were making Minnesota look like Russia.
It's the scene in what Star Wars is it where they're
Hoth.
on that ice planet.
Yeah, it looked like Hoth.
It was Hoth.
It no signs of civilization anywhere. Like snow.
The lake is finally frozen over.
Yeah, we'll get to the accent work, but snow drifts everywhere. Like you couldn't see an inch in front of your face. I was like,
they kept using the same establishing shot outside of that factory. The same shot. It's the same shot.
It was that shot, and then like the road shot. They constantly would cut to.
Yeah, the same one.
But you're right. So they cut to these women at a table, and what were they discussing?
They're like, so I had to go back because I feel like sometimes accents make me like tune out. Like I'm not really listening. I'm just looking. So like on first pass, there's scrapbooking and there's a lot of
so cute.
There's idle gossip, and then so they are talking about like very right away. They're getting right into it. They're like, did you hear the plant in town is looking for a house because the one woman is like a real estate agent, Van Houten, right?
Sure. You're right. Frances Conroy,
Frances Conroy.
You should remember was
American Horror Story is where I know her from.
No, you don't. You know her as the head maid from Maid in Manhattan. That's where you know her from.
That too. So I've just failed the cumulative curriculum.
Yeah, you have to go. This is like Candyland. You have to go back to the first position on the board.
Yeah, if this was a cumulative exam, I've absolutely failed because I forgot what came before.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frances Conroy, the supporting work in this movie
the
is
star
astonishing.
of Maid in Manhattan. Yeah.
The star of Maid in Manhattan. Like Frances Conroy's in this. Oh my God, who else?
I didn't know any of the other actors.
J.K. Simmons.
Okay. Yeah. Was he wearing prosthetics?
No. Looked it up. Gained 4. Okay.
He gained weight for the role?
Picture this. You gained weight.
For New in Town?
For 2009's new in town with a budget of $8 million.
That's wild. That is wild.
Pack on
to
a
me.
tight 40.
Okay, noted.
They thought this movie was going somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, got it. That's shocking. I just assumed that he was wearing some sort of prosthetics. Okay. Gotta chew. I will have to chew on that later.
Digest that.
But okay, the accents were interesting. And I think it's tough when you have a template like Fargo, where this accent has been perfected by Frances McDormand in a way that like pays respect to the community and doesn't create a caricature.
Yeah.
With these accents that they were doing, here's what I wished. I wished that they either tried to make it a little bit more serious and like try to go the Frances McDormand route and really nail it, or ham it up and just go totally over the line. Because we were in the gray area where I was like, they're really trying, but they're not getting it.
To your point, I think every actor made a choice whether it was going to be hammy or real for them.
Right.
Whether it was successful or not remains to be, debated. But like Siobhan,
that's the secretary.
Her lead secretary, she, I think, made the decision ham. Like, I'm gonna ham it
100%. And you can see her get more comfortable as the filming goes on.
She does. And then I feel like someone like a J.K. Simmons, I think he made the choice to be like, this is a real Minnesota accent.
He thought he was going to be submitting this to the Academy
for awards consideration.
Yeah.
And Harry Connick Jr., I was like,
the local hunk.
What is your accent? I have no idea. I think it was Southern.
Now, what is a Harry Connick Jr.?
I thought he was so creepy.
Creepy and so...
He is so creepy.
So angry.
Yeah.
He has anger management issues. But what does he do outside of... No. Outside of the movie? Is he an actor by trade? What does he do?
I'm confused by Harry Connick Jr. I feel like I've constantly like missed a reading on him. Like I'm in class and they're like, take out the reading. Yeah, because he is a singer, but I think he's just like one of those like cocktaily cabaret like gimmicky singers. But he has like a whole Christmas album.
Okay.
The Harry Connick Jr. And like older women love him. They're like, oh, it's Harry Connick Jr. And you're like, who cares?
But
I think he's also an actor.
And I know I say this line in every movie, but it's true now, and it might change in the future. But for right now, it's 100% true. He was doing nothing for me, and if anything, he was like the least interesting romance I've seen
thus far, and we've seen a lot, you guys.
I'd rather have Kevin back from Monster-in-Law.
Oh no, I wouldn't say he's the worst. Kevin's definitely up there for me.
Yeah.
But Harry Connick Jr., this felt like a misfit. This felt like a miscast. He's so creepy in this role.
Yeah, I was just like, he needs help.
I mean,
beyond
at the very least,
Renee's corporate expertise.
I know, he's like not okay. He could use some support probably for single parents.
Yeah.
And he, oh my God, I've just like lost my train of thought. Sorry. Never mind. We'll come back to it.
Well, okay. So, glad we nailed down the ladies, but then we cut to someplace warm, and we know it's warm because there are palm trees and sun. Renée Zellweger finally is taking a jog. God. She's taking a jog, and she's running through the locale, which we come to find out is Miami. And she wraps up her run and goes to work. Now, when I think of Miami, I don't think of it as a business locale. Do many businesses have their headquarters in Miami?
You know, it's actually becoming quite the little hub.
Oh.
I'm going to say. I think it is. I think, real estate down there is a lot better than New York.
True.
Rent a building.
True.
I thought we were in California, worth noting, but that's like a me problem. Like if it's a city, I'm like, no,
I
New York.
assumed from beat one that this is California.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. California.
Miami is just like such a random choice.
Yeah.
I guess for the juxtaposition in terms of temperatures, they really wanted to beat that into our head that she likes warm weather.
I know the writer was like, okay, Minnesota is Hoth.
Cold.
Minnesota is to Hoth as Miami is to
Tatooine.
the core of the sun.
Oh.
We were supposed to keep it in the realm of Star Wars. Sorry.
Yeah,
My bad.
Okay. So she shows up to work late, by the way. All the men tell her.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. Which...
I was uncomfortable in that scene. The casual sexism in that workplace was not fun for me.
It was weird because, like, were we supposed to laugh or were we supposed to be like, oh, these guys, like...
It was, like, so on the nose. And I can only hope that in 2009 we were like, no, I don't hope this, but I feel like in 2009 we were like, ha, 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 guys are so funny. And now I
think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted her to, okay, that scene where she goes to work and then they remand her to Minnesota takes place in a minute and a half. And
yeah,
I think, like, to make the choice to show us that she arrives late, I could only reason that, like, they wanted to do that to somehow give these guys, like, a justification for being, like, dismissive and rude to her.
Yeah,
because otherwise they were just, like, smirking at her, and
they were smug assholes the whole minute and a half of the scene. You're right. Like, her arriving late kind of was no bearing on the scene, and they still, I guess they were trying to use it, but I rewatched it.
It's not a reason to send someone to Minnesota.
Yeah, to literally ship them off to Middle America. But one of the guys literally goes, "Lucy is single. She can go and do it on site."
Oh,
Isn't
right.
That's the rudest thing
yeah,
I've ever heard in an office setting in a film.
Very casual sexism.
Lucy's single, she can go do it on site. And she's like, no, I'd rather do it from here, which you can do. You can manage something from off site.
100%.
And they're like, no, it'll be faster.
They've clearly been doing it for the whole span of, well, no, we do find out that there have been other managers that come in and out. But what I could have used a little bit more of in this scene is just a little information about what exactly this company is. What did they do? I really couldn't get a hand. And I'm telling you, even at the last minute of the movie, I still didn't really understand what this company does.
Okay, this is what I kind of gathered. I feel like they're like they're like a Kellogg's.
Okay.
They're like
an umbrella brand that like has
they're an umbrella brand that has like plants all over working on food items. And they were talking about how like this plant in Minnesota deals in like whey protein snacks and other crap.
Oh yeah.
And
right,
they
those
want
bars.
Those bars, and then they want to shut it down, or like they want to reduce personnel by 50%.
Yeah, they want to shift it to robotics.
Boring.
They want to get rid of the people and make it a robotics plant that just is automated.
There we go. Boom.
That part, okay, glad we pieced that together. Okay, so in the blink of an eye, they basically were like, you're getting on a plane this afternoon, see you later.
Yep, in typical movie fashion, in typical movie timeline fashion, fast.
But
fast. 5 minutes.
I appreciated by minute 5, we were already on our way to Minnesota. I love that.
Yeah, get me right there.
We don't, because, her being in Miami, it only is important just to show that she likes warm weather.
Yeah.
Like we don't need anything else there.
I was so on board. I'll make fun of movie timelines like till the cows come home. Minnesota reference.
Oh, that's really triggering for Renee, as we will come to find out.
But I will make fun of a movie timeline forever, but I appreciate a real streamlined approach always. I want to be where we're going in the first 5 minutes. Please don't waste my time.
100%. Like, I think you're right. Like, does it sometimes sacrifice any sort of semblance of plot? Absolutely. But from a viewing perspective, this is fabulous. This is fabulous. Mm-hmm. Now, as she's en route to Minnesota, we start to find out that all the other past managers have some of them have like met their demise. Some of them have like had to flee the area. Like
they're really setting it up.
This is a cursed position. One of them froze, I think, to death. One of them like
froze.
Yeah, one of them I forget, but there's something is rotten in the state of Denmark when it comes to this position.
Cursed job, and our gal is already on her way. No turning back now.
Yeah, but I was like, again, I really had no context for this movie, but when they were telling this oral history of how all these other managers met their end, I was like, "Ooh, is this a spooky movie?" Like,
are you talking about when her secretary, oh my God, what's her name? I know the actress is Siobhan Fallon. Are you talking about when she picks her up in the car?
No, when she's talking with Frances Conroy and they're sort of recounting how all the other managers, because they assume that the new manager is going to be a guy, and they're like, I hope he is ready for it.
They're like, I hope whoever the sad sack guy they hire is fine. And it's like a hard cut to Renee just jogging.
Right.
Which, by the way, we're going to add jogging on our list of star vehicle like quirks, you know?
Oh.
Always a jog.
Always a jog. Now, I will say this. Renee in this movie looks so chic. Her outfits, I think they've stood the test of time. She could walk out of that movie and walk into today and she would look normal.
Yeah, I agree. I was so impressed by that. Like, there was no dating of the clothing.
None. I thought she looked
really
great.
Classic collared shirts with like really classic like suits. And if anything, the outfits in Minnesota were quirky, but I love those crew-neck sweatshirts.
Nothing
with
felt
like flowers on them.
So dated, like that. I felt like we were in a different world.
Yeah, I had to go look up the year of this after the fact because I kind of had a memory of it being a really early movie, but I was like, then I checked and it was 2009 and I was kind of shocked. I
would have guessed early 2000s. Like,
yeah, I would have guessed early 2000s too, but
because
no.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Similar to The Sweetest Thing, like that image of her sitting on that suitcase in snow. Like, how many times have you scrolled past that on Netflix? Like, a million times. Like, it's in your face everywhere.
They're really trying to push it. They're trying to make it have a second life.
And I know it's like in today's day and age, it's such low-hanging fruit to like comment on like what Renée Zellweger's face looks like. She looks really beautiful in this movie.
Yeah, this is the Renee face I know and love. This is like
stunning. And like,
yeah,
I just found her so. What's been fun about this experience has been like seeing the energy that all the different stars bring us, and coming off of Cameron Diaz, who's like zzz, like very like up and down, very frenetic. It was nice to spend some time with Renee, who, and I know that she was working because like she was on set and like they were filming her. Like I know she was at work, but like she really gives off the energy that she's not putting any effort in. And I say that as a compliment.
No, it's like the biggest compliment
she's
think
so,
that
like,
you can give a performer.
Like she never once gives you the impression that she's working.
Yeah. I was really impressed. You're right. She has such like a groundedness to her and like a confidence about what she's doing and saying. And you feel like you're just watching her be.
She's so easy.
Nice. It is such easy viewing. And even when she's kind of being biting back to the locals, it's like it works. It is so good.
It works because her voice, her tone of voice is so calming. Like it's so soothing to hear her speak. Now it's funny.
I love her voice.
It's funny you said the word local because before this, as some of our viewers may know, I like to get on a little stationary bike action before we record. And this morning, the instructor made a comment and I was like, oh my God, did you just watch New in Town last night too? But he was like, he goes, you can't, and I want to get this right because I kept repeating it to myself so I wouldn't forget it. He said, you can't have a local mindset and expect global results.
Oh my God.
I was like, I literally was like, Renee?
You can't have a local mindset. mindset and expect global results.
He was saying this as he was like, get out of the saddle and pedal faster.
I would spend a long time trying to unpack that and still not get anywhere.
In the context of a stationary bike class, I really didn't understand what it meant.
Yeah, I don't get it. Sorry.
But it's a very one-sided dialogue, but it felt like something that Renée Zellweger would have said in this movie.
Can't have a local mindset
and expect global results.
She is the global coming into the local saying, come on, guys, expand your horizons.
Right.
So I kind of get it.
Right. But now, I think it's like going back to what we were just saying, it's important that she has this like effervescent charm, because if she came into this town and was just like nasty rude, the movie would be like really hard to watch. Just like her yelling at local people to be like, work harder.
I'm always on the lookout and beyond impressed when a movie star can come in and be kind of make the unlikable likable.
Yeah.
And I get like stressed out and sweaty thinking about having to do a job like that, like come in and be like outwardly rude to someone.
Yeah.
But she's like, I think it's justified, and that's why I'm so on board for it. Like in the car when the woman is like, can I ask you a personal question? And Renee's like, that's what you've been doing. It's biting, and it could be seen as like rude or whatever, but it's like, she's got a point. And you know, it's just she's good.
When that lady was like, what was she saying? Have you found Jesus?
I'm sorry.
And then Renee was like, I didn't know he was missing. And then she laughs at her own joke.
Yeah. She's like, ha 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 ha, didn't know he was missing. That was so good too. Well, I just like it's not too offensive.
What I loved about the humor in this movie is that like what they couldn't do is they couldn't give her Cameron Diaz physical comedy to do. It wouldn't have worked. Now there is some physical comedy in this.
Yeah, there is some.
But like I think it's the right level of comedy for her.
Yeah, no, it's all
they're not asking too much of our star.
It's all in the tone of Renée Zellweger, which that's what like a star brings to a movie too. It's like she brings all of that to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could put a Cameron Diaz in this, but then you got to add more falls.
Yeah, you would need to add a little bit more.
Got to tailor it.
Yeah, got to tailor it to our star, and this is perfectly tailored, just like her little skirts are to her body.
Yeah, this is a good fit of a movie. I could only guess that maybe they thought this movie would do a little more and go a little farther, just based on Renée Zellweger, who is like, I think at this point, an Academy Award nominated actress.
No, she's already won for Cold Mountain.
Right? Okay, yeah. So she's already won by this point.
That was like 2004.
And then we've already talked about it, but like J.K. Simmons is in this and Frances Conroy. It's like, yeah, they really thought this was going to do something, you know, beyond this.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, I don't even understand my point. I don't even understand my point.
Guess what? Neither do I. No, I think I know what you're saying.
I don't understand. He has no idea. I can't. Okay, I just got really distracted because my roommate just left and like slammed a door mid speech for me, so like I forgot my point.
Okay. Well, hopefully the listeners can untangle that web of thought. But
I just wrote at this point in the movie, this is such a comforting format for me. I love how I know what this is going to be right away. This is going to be a fish out of water story, which I think works endlessly.
It always works. It always
works. Always give me a fish out of water.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, a comforting fish out of water story for me.
What's also it also doubly works because Renée Zellweger the person has no idea where Minnesota is. So she also was like, where are we? And I think it was filmed in Canada because it said
it's Canada. But let's call a spade a spade.
But I could imagine that she got off the plane in Canada and she was like,
Minnesota. I like thinking like that.
You know it. You know she thought that.
You know, I like to think she's a smart actress. She's like one of the ones that the shorthand for a Renee character is like she's going to be smart. I think the same goes for Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I think you plug Sandy in something and the shorthand is like lawyer. But you know, Renee the actress could not know where Minnesota is.
Couldn't know.
Remains to be seen.
And when she's there, she certainly gives that performance credibility, because once she arrives, she, like you were saying, she insults the lady who picks her up in the car.
Oh, Blanche, by the way, I looked her up.
Okay. So they go to her rental home, and it looks a little drab.
They give her a little tour. The heat works for now.
The heat works for now. She asks where the switch is to turn the fireplace on.
Oh, that was so fun. Good. Do you need help? Do you need us to tell you how to work the fireplace? I mean, I know I'm a city girl, but I can work a fireplace. So it's like beep, beep, beep. So where's the switch?
So funny.
It works. It's perfect.
And then they invite her to dinner. They invite her to dinner, which is so sweet.
Yeah, so sweet.
Okay, this part was really...
this is my favorite scene.
This part was really funny. When she arrives with a jug of wine.
The jug of wine is so funny.
This scene gave me major Bridget Jones' Diary vibes when she arrived, and she gives them her coat, and she's wearing like a short sleeve sweater. And like the woman is looking at her like, girl, you're going to be cold. You might want to keep your jacket on. And she refuses. And then she goes to the bathroom.
Well, you see it there.
You do.
She's like, are you sure you don't need your coat? You look a little cold. And then the camera's like in a nice medium shot. They're not like taking any pains, but like then there's like two hard nips.
Oh, I was going to say, hopefully you could read between the lines, but Chanel just really spelled it out.
No, I want to say it. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's so funny. It was really funny.
This is the only scene that I remember from like 10 years ago watching this. And yeah, my siblings and I were like, this is a great fucking
That's
movie.
Funny for a PG movie.
Yeah, to have hard nips.
Yeah, headlights are on. So it was...
Oh, that's good. Headlights were on.
I was going to, yeah.
And the comedic performance there on Blanche's face, Siobhan Fallon,
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's like giving us like the quick eyes up and down, and her husband's doing it. And then I love that Renee discovers it later herself.
Yeah, in the bathroom. It's
in the bathroom.
It so
uniquely
fun.
Human.
Then they sit down to dinner, and Renee insults even more people.
Yes, all of them.
She's like, "Why would you move here, to Harry Connick Jr.?"
Yeah, he's like, "I've been here about 10 years." She's, "Why?" Wait, I want to do this in my everyday life. Like, why? I want someone to be like, "Yeah, I've been in Brooklyn 10 years," so I could just be like, "Why?" Such a good insult.
Yeah, and then she can't help but stick her foot in her mouth as like she like tries to force the preteen girl to say that she loves Fergie at the dinner table, even though she doesn't want.
My dad
won't
let me like that. I thought that was another like nicely sexist touch.
Yeah, it was very specific to the music of the day. That Fergie was the feminist icon. I mean, she still is. Fergalicious holds up. But
Fergalicious, definitious.
It was just funny to hear a Fergie reference.
Yeah, one of the only things potentially dating this movie, and I still couldn't do it,
was the Fergie reference.
I was like, is this 2007? Yeah, I was like truly wondering.
Yeah, I can't place when the Black Eyed Peas were at their peak.
Came on the scene. Yeah, I remember Fergalicious, and wait, what's that song? It's like The Shit Is Bananas. That song too. But I mean, it doesn't matter.
That's
Gwen Stefani.
That's another catfisher of our.
Well, okay, so I'm wrong, and I'll say it here on the pod that I thought that was Fergie for like a split second, but they were those songs were popular at the same time. So I
defend yourself. Why not?
Go on record defending myself always. Yeah, but she insults everyone at the table, including who we're going to come to find out. So Harry Connick Jr.
He's there.
He's the union rep. We come to find.
He is the union rep, and conveniently he's at the dinner.
Conveniently, and no one told her that he's also the rep.
No one told her.
So she insults him within an inch of his life.
Yeah.
Thinking like, okay, I never have to see this clown again.
Right. She's just doing her welcome routine with the small town. She's like, I'm going to show these people.
Yeah, I love the idea of a routine where she like demonstrates her superiority to these Minnesota folk.
Yeah, she was ready because she could defend her reasons for living in culturally rich Miami.
Culturally rich Miami.
She's like, well, to start, museums, the opera, ballet. I was like, that's not really what I think of Miami for, but
oh my God, this movie. So, okay. So then the next day she goes to work, right? For her first day.
Yeah, she's off to the plant.
Yeah. And I didn't know Blanche was going to end up being her, like, because you're right. It is a little confusing what the company is in the beginning. So you are trying to suss out who's who and like what's their justification for getting Blanche and her in the office together. I didn't know Blanche was going to end up being her coworker.
Right, because when she first touches down in Minnesota, Blanche introduces herself as her.
I'm like, why is this local just picking her up?
She was like, she doesn't really even introduce herself. She says, "Hi, I'm Blanche, whatever." And Renee Zellweger is like, "Oh, you must be my executive assistant." And Blanche is like, "I'm just a secretary." And when she said, like, "I'm just a secretary," I was like, is she a secretary, like a per diem secretary, or is she like, is she her secretary?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't clear. She was just saying, like,
it wasn't clear off the bat.
I'm a secretary by trade.
Yeah, that's what I thought she was saying.
Yeah. So to see Blanche in the office, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's one way to get them together. I mean, she's infinitely comedic, so I'm down for it. But yeah, that was like a slight
and we had met no other secretaries. So I guess that if she had to have a secretary,
this is the one.
Might as well be the one we've met. Otherwise, we have to keep track of multiple secretaries.
But yeah, you're right. It had to have been the one we've just spent like the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie with. So still a brilliant job structurally. Like, I'm still on board.
Oh, totally.
Keep it all in the family.
Well, she's there at the factory to have her Evita moment from the balcony as she ushers all the factory workers to gather together.
Gather round.
She's gather round, and another
good little gag.
One of her little stilettos goes right through the holy floor, and
it's funny.
It's funny, and she's starting off from a weak position.
Yeah, and they're all just kind of like, this bitch, this clown. No way.
What does she know?
Yeah. We know they're all thinking like women, but they're not saying it.
They're also thinking like, okay, based on the track record of the other managers, she'll be dead in a month.
She'll be gone soon. And they do. I would call this next section of the movie, it really is like testing. This is like this next 30-minute stretch is like, let's test the new branch manager. You know?
Yeah, let's feel her out. Let's see. It's like when you're a new student, or rather you're starting off the year and you are well behaved for the first few days of school, and then like everybody looks around to like see who's going to be the one kid who's going to test the teacher and see like how far we can push them.
It's big time substitute teacher energy, like the energy you direct at a sub, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm sure you hate as a teacher yourself.
Yeah, you're right, because they're not outright disrespectful, but they are not embracing her as their boss.
Yeah, and in a fish out of water comedy, they're gonna test her like as locals do. You know, they're just gonna see what she does and doesn't buy.
Right.
So what do they like tell her that there's like they need to be off for Gopher Day?
Right. Well, first they. Well, I don't know how Renee finds the bar, but she goes to a bar the first night where all the workers are, and she ends up getting like super drunk.
Oh, is this the drinking game scene?
Yeah.
Where they're all taking a swig every time she says a D word.
Right. Every time she uses corporate language, everybody drinks around her. And it was a cute scene. Renee thinks she's being endearing, but
she doesn't get drunk. She finishes her beer and then like trudges off.
Oh, you know what?
She's
I'm
like,
thinking of the other scene.
You're thinking of the car.
I'm thinking of the almost death scene.
Yeah, no, the almost death scene. That's like the climax of the movie. Yeah, no, this front half is like, let's test her. So they're gonna like say that they deserve off on Gopher Day, and she's gonna go along with it because she wants everyone on the team. They're gonna tell her like they do that drinking game around her, stuff like that.
Yeah,
cute, PG, just PG fun.
But I
wrote down, this is like a Lifetime movie or like a Hallmark movie. If you didn't cast these actors, if you cast like a B actor, this is a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it's the structure. There's nothing new with the structure here.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just fish out of water. And speaking of fishing, I guess maybe it's the next day she shows up to work and like no one's there.
Oh yeah, and is this when Blanche goes, the lake froze enough to drive on, so Stu made it a holiday. Is that scene?
That is. And Renee's like, absolutely not.
So she whips that little Ford on the lake.
She takes herself to the ice and she shuts it down.
Yeah.
And then she fires him.
You're fired.
She fires the foreman.
Yeah, but he's like, that was also confusing to me because he's around the whole rest of the movie.
He's around the whole rest of the movie, and he is romantically linked to Renée Zellweger's town arch nemesis, Flo, the diner waitress.
That waitress is putting in the work.
Yeah, Flo.
Oh my God, that was rude. Another point where Renee was so rude too. She's like, you know, you don't get to. I do my job, and so you do your job. Now take my order. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting that like she's the rudest to another woman in town.
Yeah, to another woman and like a trade worker.
Yeah, like she's a diner waitress, no less.
Oh, I didn't mean to say I had trade workers off, but yeah, you get it.
Yeah, she really picks and she's projecting a lot of her anxieties and anger onto Flo, but Flo dishes it right back.
Yeah, Flo dishes it right back. I feel like if I could lend a rewrite for today, I feel like her and Flo should connect. Flo should be like, I know. Well, it's a real man's world out there.
That was my gripe with the romance element, is that because by the end of the movie, I think her relationships with like the female characters in the town seem to be stronger than her relationship with Harry Connick Jr. And it's like, it would have been a more interesting movie if there was no romance and she was just like building actual connections with people.
Yeah, everything was just like dialed to a 5. That's kind of just how I felt. It's like, yeah, her connection with Harry Connick is a 5. It's like, okay, do we need this? No.
She's more just taking care of him. She's not really like romancing him.
I know. Well, yeah, and the PG nature of it too kind of like adds to it. Like I know when they're on the couch, I'm like, do they sleep together? No way. They just like kiss before Bobby comes home.
They fooled around a little bit.
They just fool around. It is kind of like suggestive. He stands up and like buckles his belt. I'm like,
oh, you're right.
He like tucks his shirt in.
I guess, like, you're right. For the more mature viewer, you could. Oh, I don't want to. Never mind. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. He's very.
I also love.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say I love how in movies like this, which I like cling to, I love how it's always assumed like that the brooding single hot one in town automatically must be set up with like the new arrival. Like that's the trope.
Right. Somebody. Well, that was also a confusing part. Is that okay? Going all the way back to the beginning, they're like, you're gonna go to Minnesota indefinitely. Like she packs 19 pieces of luggage.
Oh, I did have that.
Like
in my
I
notes.
was like, how long is she going to be there?
And she doesn't leave with the same amount of luggage, which was very confusing.
No. She sort of, after she gets there, she sort of just consolidates to one piece of luggage.
Yeah, literally. She's like a carry-on and a backpack when she goes home. She really downsizes.
She downsizes a lot. But, well, you know, it's more conservative there. We find that out a lot.
We do. Because Bobby's not allowed to listen to Fergie. No.
She's not allowed to listen to Fergie.
Justin Timberlake.
And she's dressing like a pilgrim, according to Renée Zellweger, when she's going to that dance.
With the perm that her dad got her.
I've seen pilgrims in sexier outfits.
Classic line reading.
Classic Renee.
So good. Oh my gosh, I don't really know where to go because all these scenes are just like kind of blending together, bopping around. This is very just situational movie. Like each scene is just like a new fun little situation to put our fish out, like to put our fish in.
Yeah.
You know, let's try her out over here. Let's try her out here. Let's try her out What are they hunting for?
Well, I think that we can sort of peak in the middle, because it's really right in the middle of the movie, is her near-death experience. And that's really where things change. Because you're right. Up until this point, it's really like plug and play. Like, let's put her here. Let's put her here. So she goes out drinking. She goes to the lake. She struggles with the workers. And, like, there's no plot progression. Like, nothing changes in the movie. It's more just, like, here she is failing. And then one night she's driving. Where is she come? I don't remember.
This is like the middle of the movie. She's
It's
kind
literally
of like,
right in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, she's absolutely had it with these locals. She's like, that's it. I'm done. She's like, I'm going back to Miami. So she packs just one carry-on.
Right. Okay. I forgot that she was trying to go home.
She's like, I was a little confused, but I'm like, okay, she quitting or what? Or maybe she just needed a break. I don't know. But she's like, you can hear her speak out loud. She's like, I'm going to Miami. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that was pretty good, Renee.
Yeah, that was good, right?
Yeah, it was pretty
good.
She
packs up her suitcase, gets in that car. He didn't. Readers at home, he did not think it was good.
I did. I thought that was a good Renee. It's a hard voice to do. Don't you always think that she's not from this country? I always think she's British.
Yes. I thought she was British too, which is like a huge kudos to her.
Which I know is like not my original thought. Like, I know like millions of people think that Renée Zellweger is British, but like...
No,
she's
I
born
had
in
that
Texas.
thought too. I always have to do that like second step in my brain. The first step is like Bridget Jones' Diary. She's British. And step number 2 in my brain is like, no, she's not.
She's not at all. Anyway, okay,
but
so you're right. She's heading back.
She packs up the car. She's like, I'm going. But it happens to be like really late at night, dark, can barely see her hand in front of your face. She starts driving.
Or as we're led to believe, this is just normal Minnesota.
Normal Minnesota weather.
Anyway,
normal.
Second time I've interrupted you.
It's like, is it just about Christmas time or it's pre-Christmas. So this is Minnesota in like
because we have
November.
A caroling scene coming up, but yeah.
Yeah, the caroling's coming up where she kind of like turns it all around.
She joins that street gang.
So we're led to believe that this is like early December, late November Minnesota, which I don't know. You guys can fact check me. Is this Minnesota in November?
That's right. Maybe we're having too strong a reaction. Maybe this is Minnesota.
I'm ready to call myself out, so, let me know.
Yeah.
But, so she's driving, and she dodges an animal in the road and runs herself off the road and ends up, like, in a snowbank.
Right.
And this is scary.
Right. Everything in the movie so far has been super light. Like, the biggest physical situation she's gotten herself stuck in is her stiletto being stuck in the floor. Like, things have not really been that rough. Or like one morning she woke up and like the house was a little chilly, so she didn't want to take her comforter off. But her
little tiny sight gags.
Her car, which is like a Ford sedan, didn't look like it had 4-wheel drive, goes careening into a snowbank, and she's stuck. She's stuck.
Yeah, she's stuck, and she makes the decision to stay and
smart.
Just like wait for help. I am a big old idiot. I was like, get out. Come on, girl.
Me too.
Start walking.
I was like, get out. How far could you have driven? And then she takes one of her sexy red negligees and puts it on the antenna and as a SOS flag. Mm-hmm. And she
waits it out
with a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Was this the wine from dinner? I'm like, where is she getting booze? Whatever. It was in the car. It was in the car.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay. She has booze in the car, and she gets to drinking.
Yeah, she gets to drinking, and it's a real tense. It's a real tense time until our knight in shining armor shows up, who is none other than Harry Connick Jr. himself.
It's just a weird scene because like she could have died very easily.
She could have. And he makes it known.
He literally was like, you're lucky to be alive.
He's like, good thing you didn't walk. People die that way. And I was
like, I had an aha moment. I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I wouldn't have walked.
Yeah, like if I was in that situation, I would
have gotten out immediately.
I would have started walking. But yeah, it's that moment. It's the moment where you're an audience member just going like, "Oh shit!" Like, good thing.
Yeah. She knew what to do.
Yeah. Yes, I definitely knew to stay in the car.
Of course. Why would you get out? Of course. Got it.
Yeah. So she gets rescued, but she's quite drunky. She's really drunk.
And this is similar to your astute observation about jogging scenes. Drunk acting for 30 seconds is another hallmark of a star vehicle, because
yes,
we see her drunk acting, and I really enjoyed her drunk acting.
This might be my favorite drunk acting thus far.
It was kind of sexy, you know?
It was.
And like
she starts
flirty.
like letting slip. This is my favorite kind.
Like Cameron's drunk acting was fun because she was like real, like broken down giraffe, like just kind of like lurching all over. But like Renee was more like slinky and more flirtatious.
Yeah, it really fits with her whole vibe, her whole energy. And
she talks kind of slow to begin with. So slowing down her slow voice was a treat.
And the tone of her voice is like kind of sexy too.
You got that right.
And raspy, so it was nice. It was really nice drunk acting, and a little bit of physical
little
comedy.
Roxy Hart in there.
Little Roxy, yes. When she sits on the railing and he's like opening the front door to get her into her house, and she just flips over it.
Fun. Loved it.
So fun. Hope there was a mat behind there. I think there was.
Yeah, well, I would hope.
Yeah, so that was super fun. This is like the turning point for her and the Minnesota crew. This is the point where she's like, wow, okay.
Maybe there is more to this small town. That's what she says in her head.
That's what she's thinking inside.
Yeah.
She doesn't say it. She's thinking.
But if you're paying attention, something has changed.
Yeah, that's the subtext.
And now we run through a bunch of scenes similar to like pre-car crash of her building relationships.
But it's, it's going a little better.
The one that I would never have entertained is the caroler scene. There's like a mob of carolers on the street.
Boring.
And who knocks on her door? Someone knocks on her door and she opens it. And no one's there. And she doesn't say anything. She doesn't say, hello? Where are you? I can... Or what I would always do, not always do, this has never happened to me, but what I would say is I would say, I can see you. So they would have to come out. Did you ever play Manhunt in like backyards?
Have I ever played Manhunt?
Okay, so my fear is I like the game, but I would always get way too scared. So when it was my job to be the huntress going after the men, like...
I'm writing that one down.
When it was my turn... And because that's scary because you're alone, right? And you have to go in the dark and find people in your neighborhood.
I hate being the seeker,
and sometimes, as you know, like sometimes you have home field advantage and you're playing in your yard, but sometimes you're playing in like your neighbor's yards that you're like maybe not as familiar with, like as you're walking around. So like you don't really know like where all like the dips and whatever are.
That's what I was gonna say. The divots in the back.
Yeah, like
you don't know where like the holes in the lawn are, the sticks.
So whenever I would be the hunter, I would just like literally walk around people's backyards, be like, I see you. Oh, I see you. See you. And 9 times out of 10, these people would like jump out. Oh, I was like, these idiots every time.
You're such a troll.
Oh, there you are. I literally just stand in the backyard yelling it. I was like, how do I get out of this? Because as you know, once you get one person, then you have a walking buddy. So I just needed to get one person.
This is the biggest power move I've ever heard, coming from the most scared, like, little package.
Yeah, it was like...
You're, like, petrified and you want a walking buddy, so you're literally just gonna, like, be like, power.
Well,
I see you, come out.
It was like, I didn't want to miss out on, like, the reindeer game, so to speak. I didn't want to, like, not be included in the manhunt, but I also, like, was way too scared to play.
My cheeks hurt. This is so funny. Also, it's, like, pitch black outside.
Pitch black. And then, like,
and you're like, I see you.
And then
you don't.
And then sometimes, like, a car would drive by, and I would literally be like,
headlights.
Oh my God.
Manhunt is so scary. I think I have trauma.
So much trauma. And it was like, for us, this was pre-cell phone. So like you couldn't like communicate with anybody if you needed to end the game, or if you wanted to like tell people like, hey, I'm actually having like a really hard time emotionally right now. So if we could just go to the next round, that would be great. You had to find everyone.
That line of communication was like unavailable to us.
And then,
there's no
and
way
then on the reverse, I didn't like either role. So if I was hiding, I would always like look to the person next to me like, hey, you want to hide together? And they'd be like, no, like you're going to give it away. Because like if I was hiding and I knew the person was like nearby, I would always like rustle the leaves to be like, over here.
You want to get found.
I want to get found right away.
I'm fucking dead. This is so funny to come to light now.
So anyway, she joins the carolers.
So anyway.
No one's at the door, and she joins the carolers, and she gives us a smile as they're singing their songs to let us know that she's at peace.
Mm-hmm. And she joins them.
She joins them
at some point.
Harry Connick Jr. is there. He's nearby in the circle, and she flashes a big smile.
Mm-hmm. Literally, that's it. Like this scene, I understand. I get it. I get why it's there. I'm like, okay, next.
Yeah, and then
can we move on to the next round, please?
And then she bonds with her secretary by really force feeding tapioca pudding in her mouth.
Oh, okay. So this is where I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had tapioca pudding?
Yeah, absolutely. I love tapioca pudding.
Okay, I've had rice pudding.
That's different.
It doesn't taste the same?
No.
What? Really?
Yeah, they're totally different products.
Oh, okay. Well,
I like both. I'll say that.
I really would like to go get
I like
some
rice pudding
today.
More, but
me too.
Tapioca
I love rice pudding.
From Cozy Shack. Yeah, tapioca is pretty good, but I think there's a limit to how much pudding
one should be consuming.
One can eat. And the scenes where Renee is like sitting at a table and she's like eating out of a trough of like
out of the trough of pudding with just her. I was gonna say me, myself, and I.
I was just like, I don't know how much tapioca pudding I could eat.
Yeah, Blanche sends her home with that like ginormous like bowl of it, and then Renee comes back and she's like, "I'm just returning your bowl. Transferred it to another container. I didn't eat it all in one sitting or anything."
I was like, okay. I was like, that would I would better hope not. Disgusting.
Yeah, the same way I was like, I wouldn't have gone walking in the car, and I totally would have gone walking. I was like, I wouldn't have eaten it all. Would have.
Oh, I for sure would have too, and gotten really sick.
I don't know when enough's enough when it comes to pudding. Yeah. So I mean, is the hunting trip coming up now? Like, things are starting to turn for her.
I have the sense that we've jumbled the order of the events, but we've located them to the proper first half or second half. And the hunting scene is in this area, and she goes, what are they hunting?
Yeah, like pigeons or something. Like
a bird. How about that? A bird. They're hunting a bird.
It's a bird, but it's like they said something to be funny.
That's right.
They gave it a specific.
That's right. And she goes along and is wearing this bizarre outfit.
He says, like, wear something you can get dirty.
Oh,
She repeats into the phone, like, wear something dirty. And I'm like, oh, great. Can't wait for this little mix up. Can't wait for her to show up in like a slinky dress to like this hunting trip. But no, she doesn't. No. And he puts her in like a jumpsuit.
Yeah. He puts her in a jumpsuit with a little bathroom slot in the bottom. And
so fun.
She's there for 10 minutes and she's already got to go to the bathroom. Of course.
Yep. Gotta pee. Duh. Of course. And she goes to go take care of it, and the zipper doesn't come down.
No, it's a hard area to reach. Well, you guys can figure out where it would be, and
She tries. She tries the front one. Like, she tries one at her neck.
She gives it a good effort. I think she's wearing mittens, which is hard. You're basically like a cat. Like, you can't really use your fingers.
Like a cat.
And
yeah, so then she phones in for help from Harry Connick Jr. She's like, hey, I need the trapdoor open.
Yeah, let's get this going here.
And that's another fun little sight gag. He holds her like horizontally from the back.
He gets try to get it off. For somebody who is like so conservative, he gets real handsy real quick with her.
Fast.
And like when he breaks the zipper, so then he cuts a hole, right?
Yeah, it's because this is a PG movie. The frame is high. The frame is at her shoulders.
Yeah, you don't see anything.
You don't know what's going on. You have no idea. He breaks the zipper, so you're like, okay, what did he do? So I'm like, did he rip open her ass pocket? I have no idea. But he glances down and he's like, are you wearing a thong? And I'm like, what can you see? What? Why would you look?
If he could see that, then he is implying that she is just wearing this. This is her only layer of clothes, and now he's got a hole in it.
Yeah,
she's gonna freeze.
There should be like a shirt and a long john.
Yeah, something.
Underwear, long john, or maybe she has a jean on, but
something. It was very weird.
He tear through not only the outer layer jumpsuit, but her khaki slacks.
Right, and instead of saying something like, oh, you're being really inappropriate, or please don't do that, she goes, you said something inappropriate.
Does she say that?
She said, you said something dirty.
Oh, she said she repeats his line. You said wear something dirty. And he goes, I said something you could get dirty. So that was what she did then. She wore the jumpsuit and a thong, and that's it.
It was very confusing. I think it's like, I wasn't invested at all in the romance, so this scene...
So I didn't care.
This scene, I was like, what are we doing?
Because here's the thing. In typical like movie script fashion, when someone repeats a line like that, you're like, pay attention to that.
Right.
So she's like, something dirty. And you're like, okay, I can't wait for that to come back later. And then it comes back like that in like her underwear choice that he shouldn't have seen. Like, it's just weird.
It was...
But
we're supposed to infer now that they're even more into each other, I think.
Yeah. Well, the dance scene has already happened, and they right? Or they had their hookup? Yeah.
Right. They've already had a night together where there, as we've mentioned before, there was an ambiguous level of action, whether it was just a kiss, whether they held hands, or something more sinister. We don't know. Mm-hmm. But
yeah. So, I mean, after this, the movie is just like, I'm like, okay, can we wrap it up?
Well, we think we're heading towards a real positive conclusion because everything is going well, and then she gets word from Miami that she's got to come back, and this time she doesn't get stranded in a snowbank. She makes the plane. She comes back to Miami, and she finds out that the plant is no longer functional.
It's worth more dead to them than alive.
Right.
So they're like, we're killing the plant.
We're gonna kill the plant.
And in the meantime, Blanche has found her like rudimentary list of layoffs.
Right.
In
which looked like
Renee's
everyone.
Desk drawer.
Looks like she just wrote everyone's name down because there were like 300 names on the list.
It literally looked like the whole company.
I mean, there were objectively 40 people that worked at this factory. I know. And the list of people that she was going to fire was
40.
At least, if not 3 times the number of people. She was going to fire people that didn't even work at the factory. Based on her calculations.
The extras casting director was a little short that day.
Yeah.
So they were like, we don't have enough.
Right. They were like, oh, we'll do that thing where we like film 40 people, but then we make it seem like there's 100 people there. We just repeat their bodies, but they didn't do that.
Fill it in your brain.
And she's like, no. That's my Renee.
Good performance.
This is a real town.
That's a good Renee.
This is a real town.
I know. I've started to come around to these people. The fish out of water has started to drink the water, started to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, she's drunk on Minnesota.
Drunk on Minnesota. The people have imprinted on her. They've endeared themselves to her, and she's like really starting to come around. And we come to find out, which is a nice touch, that her father
is nice.
of like this, of this like working class background. Like she thought her father was like some CEO of the plant. Turns out he was one of the normies just working at the plant.
Yeah,
so that was like her nice.
I like
little
the backstory that like it humanized her reason for wanting to be where she is.
Mm-hmm. And not why she wanted to be CEO.
And not that she just like wanted to be an executive. Like it came from a real place. I like that. And when she comes back to Minnesota, this was a real acting moment when she is talking with the secretary lady on the porch. I thought Renee delivers her best acting in the movie when she is like talking to her and like explaining that they're going to close.
It's really sweet.
It felt very real.
It felt super real, like major props, because that can feel really, what's the word? Like rehearsed, like overdone, not real.
Because literally the beats of the scene where we're closing the plant, you're going to get fired. But like it felt a little bit more special than that.
It just felt not cliche.
Yeah.
Because I kind of groaned as we're approaching this moment. I'm like, oh, great. This is that point in every movie like this where it's going to be like, but I'm different. Like, I really like you guys. Like, it's different. And they're like, you don't care about us. You never did care about us. They took pains to make it really not cliche because, there's that list that she made that's incriminating.
Yeah.
But you know, that it wasn't really about that. It was kind of about corporate closing. Corporate closing really eclipsed that list, really let her off the hook, let's just say.
Right.
She didn't really have to answer for her actions.
Well, she literally was like, if you think that list is bad, just wait. She literally says like a line, either that specific line or something similar. Like so the town has gotten word that not only was Renee going to personally fire everyone, but now Renee's boss is going to fire everyone. So, which I guess is worse. I don't know what's
just
worse.
Add fuel to that fire.
I don't know. So then she is kind of moping around town and she opens her fridge and she takes out the tapioca. And this was a cool moment because in the same moment that Renee has a light bulb like aha moment, I did too. I was like,
I have it too.
I was like, oh my god, oh my god.
Favorite thing when a movie can do that.
I'm telling you, I didn't see this coming.
Didn't see it coming.
They said tapioca a bunch, but like
they said tapioca no less than like 200 times in this movie.
And I guess there was some foreshadowing, but like I really wasn't picking up what they were putting down.
I felt like a real dummy because you're right. I took the ride, and then this morning when I was doing my reskim of the movie, they say tapioca in the first minute of the film.
Yes, they do. They're like,
she's like, no tapioca for you ever since your heart problem.
Yeah, and
they talk about the tapioca so many times.
Yeah, they talk about the tapioca, and then Renee calls a team meeting, and she is wearing a sensible skirt and a nice blouse, and she's like, this is it. And she's like, not only are your jobs on the line, but my career is on the line. So we got to make this work.
I didn't buy that her career was on the line. Like, isn't she fine? She just goes back to Miami.
Yeah, it was sort of a weird like motivation. It was like, not only are you guys going to lose your jobs, but I might lose my job too. And that would suck. So let's get to work.
It's like, it's sweet. She had to like align herself with everybody. And at this point, it's really nice because they trust her. It's like they finally trust her.
Yeah. They
She's
trust her.
She's not like the big bad corporation. She's not the face of the enemy at this point. She's an ally.
Yeah.
And she wants to help them save the plant. And how they're going to do it is they're going to market and sell Blanche's world famous tapioca pudding.
Right. And in the same speed that Jennifer Lopez comes up with an all-in-one skincare product, they redo the entire factory and figure out how to produce tapioca pudding. And then 30 seconds later, it's on the shelf. And
yeah, well, not without some issues.
Oh, there are some hijinks in the factory. The tapioca, there's a little bit of a tapioca fight, if we will, in the factory.
Yes, which led me to another question I have for you. Have you ever had a food fight break out in school while you were there?
There was. I have to know. There was one. I wasn't a part of it, but it was in middle school.
Me too. Middle school's like prime for it.
It sounds so stupid to say now, but there was like a table of like, I guess what you would consider, or not, let me rephrase, what they would consider themselves to be as like the popular girls who all sat together, and like bitches. Some of the other girls who like didn't like them for whatever reason, one day like all stood up and threw food at them.
So it was like a 2-table food fight?
Yeah.
Between the two
tables? It was like girl on girl crime.
We had the most world famous food fight in my 7th grade lunch period. It was the whole cafeteria.
Whoa.
Erupted. And oh my God, it's like you never think that that's going to happen to you, and it does. It was nice. It was real nice. Okay. That was my little addendum. But yeah, they have a little tapioca food fight, but you're right. It's a movie, so 3 tries later, it has to be on the shelves. Like, we got to get this product
Also,
out.
There's like literally 10 minutes left in the movie.
Yeah, we don't have time. So they get it on the shelves, and wouldn't you know, the factory's saved.
The factory is saved, and the corporation is thrilled with Renee, and
yeah, they're thrilled with how the tapioca is testing. They're not even like let's wait. They're like, no, it's testing locally so well. Let's get it out there.
Yeah. And as a reward, they are going to pull Renee back to Miami.
Yeah.
They're like, good job setting these locals up for success.
Come home,
girl.
Yeah, they give her a promotion. She's like VP now or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Again, I still don't really understand the company. So... And again, there's 10 minutes left in the movie, but so they decide that they're going to do what with the factory now?
It's going to be a tapioca.
No, this isn't the end though.
She comes back to Miami, and then they're going to close it again? Is that true?
They're either going to close it or they're going to sell it to someone. I can't remember, but I guess for whatever reason the company is
in danger again.
No longer wants to be involved with the factory. Let's just say that. I don't remember why. Either they want to sell it or they want to take the recipe and like produce it somewhere else. I can't remember.
Yes.
Is that it?
Okay. Yeah. They want to take it. They want to sell it off, like that little branch off to someone bigger. And like the integrity of the recipe is like no longer going to be there. Plus, like these folks are like not going to have the same boss that they've always answered to.
Right.
So it's like a sad day again.
Yeah, they basically want to absorb it into a larger thing and be like, because their whole thing is robotics. They want to get the robots in there, but and Renee's like, this is it. I've had it with this.
Yeah, I'm going home.
I'm coming back to Minnesota.
Back to Minnesota. Home is no longer Miami.
And she struts in with these black and white pumps, and all we see are the shoes, and we hear the click clacks, and we know it's Renee.
Blanche knows. Blanche looks up, and we just hear like
Harry Connick is in his union head office, and he doesn't see her. He just hears the click clacks.
Hears it. It's powerful. It's real powerful.
And she has a little crate that she puts down in the center of the room. She stands up, and she has her Norma Ray moment, and she's like, well, what does she say? She says, she tells them,
you guys couldn't see Steven, but he was so confident up until
then I was moment. Like, okay, she says, oh, I remember. She says, well, she does classic bad news first. She says, bad news, we're shutting down. And then she says, but. She says, I've rallied a group of investors, including yours truly, to buy the factory. And then she goes, and guess what? I'm going to be the CEO. I was like, this girl, I cannot with her right now.
It's so funny. She doesn't literally say guess what, but it is the guess what energy. It's that pause and like, and I'm going to be the CEO.
It was so like, huh? Like, I was like, this is how we got into all the trouble in the first place. Like,
your ambition, lady, sit down. Take a seat.
This is a really niche reference, and I don't know. I doubt you'll understand or you'll remember.
Well, try me.
Okay. On the Real Housewives of Orange County, and
there's no way I'm gonna.
Okay, this is like season 2, but Vicky Gunvalson, in the first episode of the season, she's driving to her daughter's apartment with a brand new Mercedes. And she drives up to the apartment, and it's like a really iconic scene. And she honks the horn, and her daughter comes out, and her daughter starts crying. And Vicky's like, this is your new car. She's like, do you love me? Are you so happy that I did this for you? And then her daughter's like, oh my God, are you serious? This car is for me? And Vicky goes, yes, I signed the lease, and you're going to make the payments. This very much had that energy where it was like, she was like, you guys are still going to work these jobs, but I'm going to be the boss.
Same pay, same everything, no overtime.
And then she was like, if you guys work hard enough, we could buy it back in a few years. I was like,
yeah.
What snake oil are you selling these people? Like,
I want a New in Town number 2. I want a New in Town 2 because it was a real nice idea.
It was a nice
they would
gesture.
all buy it
You're
back.
right.
Nice gesture. You know what? And this is the kind of PG movie where you leave it going, yeah, they bought it back. Like you're supposed to leave with that. But you know, in classic millennial dread fashion, I'm like, they didn't fucking buy it.
They didn't buy it back. You know that for a fact. And this is 2009. Like this is the 2008 recession aftermath. Like it's definitely a message for the times that like, if you're down on your luck, just wait. Renée Zellweger might come to your town and she might buy your factory and potentially sell it back to you at a premium in 5 to 10 years. So just wait.
She says at the end of her speech too, like, we're going to be like the first, or we're going to be a company that owns all facets of like production or whatever. And so my question to you is at the end, when Blanche receives that check in the mail of tapioca royalties for $250,000, is that only possible if you own all the means of production? So are we led to believe that they did buy the plant? Or is Blanche always entitled to her royalties no matter what?
Unclear. Great question. We don't drill down into the organizational structure, the business plan, the financial compensation structure of the company enough for me to answer that question.
Not enough. But you know what? Not important because
but if I was
who's in the crowd?
Oh, Connick Jr. Now, here's the problem. If I was an employee, okay, so he kind of sneaks forward and he goes,
slinks forward.
He goes, like are you prepared to run this idea by the head of the union?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. And he like walks up to her and he says something inconsequential and then they kiss. I was like, that's really the whole point of having a union, is that you're supposed to have a little separation of church and state. I would say it's time to hold an election and get a new leader because the union,
get a new union rep.
The union rep cannot be making out with the boss.
With this new CEO,
that's the
new
whole
owner.
Point. I was like, oh, you still are new in town. You don't get it.
Oh my God. I just was so like, would you kiss in front of all those? Like, I would hide this relationship, honestly.
Yeah, use it to your advantage and just like steal away in the background. And
steal away in the break room. but like don't be doing it.
These are just really rocky. This is rocky foundation to build a company. Let me just say that.
Like I said, I definitely want a new in town too.
Yeah. Still new, old town.
It's a good one. That's really good. Yeah, this movie is just fun. I think
and that's the end. That's the end, by the way.
That's the end. They play us out on like I think a Carrie Underwood song, and it's just real nice.
Yeah.
And this is the moment in time, the first moment where I go, is Harry's accent Southern in this?
Really? I can't even draw up a auditory memory of what he sounded like.
I was going to say, I debated bringing this up because I cannot point to another moment in the film where I can remember what he even sounds like. But I know he doesn't have the strict Minnesota sound that everybody has.
No.
He's different.
No.
And, if you do watch this, folks at home.
That's why, because he's not from Minnesota, right?
He's not from Minnesota. He's been there for 10 years only. And he felt like he didn't want to uproot his daughter.
Right.
But this is
and also
the
not
last
to say it, but like another hallmark of a star vehicle, dead mom.
Oh, yeah.
His wife is dead. Mm-hmm. And we know that because he looks at his daughter and he goes, "You look just like," and then cut. Anyway, go ahead.
You're right. That goes on the list. Add it to the list. Yeah, I'm trying to think if we're missing any star vehicle moments, but okay. I only brought up the Harry Connick Jr. accent to be like, this is, you don't want the last frames of your movie for me to suddenly question your accent for the whole movie.
Right.
I was like, wait, what?
Right.
Like now I'm going to ask, where are you from? So that was just fun. And I kind of suspected you would feel the same, which is I have no auditory memory of him speaking.
Not
this whole
one
movie.
bit. And like even his face is very much like a blurry watercolor. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Could not pick him out of a lineup.
Oh, he creeped me out in this.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of growing up to do, and I think that he needs more support than he thinks he needs, because
then this town can give him.
Yeah, I think it's time for him to leave. I think it's time for him to go somewhere else, because
they should both go to Miami.
Yeah, they should. I mean, she has a great apartment, so I would just go back to Miami.
It's beautiful. And take the daughter.
Yeah, take the daughter.
If you want.
Or leave her. Leave her to run the tapioca business.
Take your kid if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like, okay, that's it. So that's new in town.
This was a really wonderful experience. I'm so glad that
Oh.
Is that here?
Yeah, what is that? Construction?
Weird. Sounded like a spaceship took off.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything final to say?
I think that my last note I want to be that Renée Zellweger is a star. And
yeah.
I really hope that people give her the credit that she deserves. And this movie really solidified the unique energy that only Renée Zellweger is able to bring. Because I haven't felt this comfortable with a character in any of the movies we've done so far.
Yeah, Renée really is on a plane of her own. We talk about, like, I'm trying to remember now our repertoire, but I just know that, like, if you've got an Oscar,
mm-hmm.
you're really you're on another, I can't speak today. It's another playing field, and she is so good and so grounded, and it was a real pleasure. That's all I have to say. It was a real pleasure to listen to her.
Yeah.
I wish she would do more animated films, because I would love to listen to her more.
Oh yeah, she could.
I know she was in Shark Tale.
Oh,
I loved that movie.
It's been a minute since I touched down with Shark Tale.
Been a quick minute. Yeah, she's just too good. She's really good. You probably could have plugged other stars into this role, and then you just given yourself something different, a different flavor.
Yeah,
and I really liked her flavor.
You could have plugged a different star in, but it would have been tough if they didn't have the soft energy that Renée has, because then she would have been too mean, and then the movie really wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, because like I'm thinking back to Cameron Diaz's role from last week, where she's mean to grandma a lot, and Cameron Diaz would bring like would bring a quirk to this, and she'd be good at the biting moments, and I'd even buy that she's like a CEO, but I almost think Cameron would be, she would just be goofier, and it would be different, not better or worse, different.
Right. I would not be opposed to seeing a New in Town starring Cameron Diaz. It just would have been a different movie.
Just different movie. Yeah, I think when we first started this podcast, I had this idea that you couldn't replace, like the star vehicle is like, you can't just put anyone here. It wouldn't, like, it would be impossible. And that's not true. What is true is that each of these people come with like this package. Yeah. These people.
Well, you're right.
People,
I think if you,
each of these stars come with a package, a shorthand.
Yeah.
And I just love Renee's shorthand. Right. I just love it. She's great.
Maybe you could replace it with another star, but certainly not a normal.
Yeah, like our original thesis, if you will, when we were kind of figuring out what this pod was that like a star vehicle is like immovable. You can't replace these people, and they could only be replaced with another star. And I still like that idea, but yeah, you can change them out, and it just becomes a different movie, and it's fun.
And boy, was this fun! But
boy, was this fun! I have to tell my sisters I watched this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Renee.
Thanks so much for listening.
No. Thank you, Renee.
Oh yeah, we always thank the stars.
Renee.
I'm so sorry. Okay, wait, I'm going to shut up and you do the thank yous to the star.
To the only star. Thank you, Renée Zellweger.
Yes.
That's
thank
it.
You, Renée Zellweger. Just you for this movie. We appreciate you. We love you. And I am so good. I have nothing more to say on New in Town. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
Check it out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review.
Review. If review is too much, just rate. It's a quick click.
Mm-hmm. 5 stars.
Yeah, 5.
Please.
The 4-star and below doesn't work, so it's only the 5-star. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah, 4 and below not gonna work for me. So
yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Steven. Bye, everybody.